Thank you for joining us at New York Small Pharma's first episode of our free online speaker series, Cannabis, Consciousness, and the Environment. Tonight's episode will be on cannabis and climate change. And this 1 hour episode will be just enough to dip our toes into this very complex topic. So we're going to be posting in the chat links to places where you can go for more information, and you can always come to our website for information as well. That would be newyorksmallpharma.org, nysmallpharma with an F.org. So this evening, New York, just to let you know, New York Small Pharma is a charitable organization, and we survive on donations, sponsor funding, and good-hearted volunteers, and we accept all three at all times. So don't be shy. Feel free to jump in and donate, or contact us if you want to volunteer, or if you want to partner with us for sponsoring or to organizing in your community. We love to hear from our members. And I want to go over tonight's format. We're going to be first speaking with our president of the board, Donna Burns, who will give you a little bit of a background about New York Small Pharma, the work that we've done with New York's cannabis law, a little bit about the cannabis law, and then we're going to move on to our expert panel of regenerative farmers who are going to be speaking with you here today. And I'm going to introduce each one individually, and they will each speak for 5 to 7 minutes. Once all panelists have spoken, we're all going to rejoin back on screen, and then we're going to be taking your questions. So please feel free to submit your questions in the chat, and I will try to get to all of them before the evening is out. We are so honored to have these panelists here tonight, all of whom are representing themselves and speaking about their own personal views, not necessarily the views of New York Small Pharma, and we encourage them to share from their perspective. Of course, except for our president, Donna Burns, who will be speaking about New York Small Pharma and representing New York Small Pharma. So Donna is a plant lover and is a lawyer who has practiced in DC for 40 years until the Hudson River Valley wilderness called her out here, and we're lucky that she came. And she's been an incredible leader for New York Small Pharma and really leading our team to work with lawmakers to where we were able to leave an indelible fingerprint on environmental oversight in the cannabis law. So please welcome Donna Burns.
Thank you, Nicole. I'm really excited that we're doing this series of conversations on cannabis, consciousness, and the environment. And really, I can't think of a better day than Earth Day. It's so fitting for this launch. And thanks to the hard work of everybody at NY Small Pharma, our board members, past and present, our founder, our volunteers, our supporters, everybody's here tonight because it's because of all the hard work and support that we were able to change the conversation and change the consciousness of so many people around cannabis, especially the lawmakers. New York's cannabis law reflects years of hard work, education, and outreach to make sure that folks knew that this cannabis plant is more than just what people thought a drug. It's a way to regenerate the earth. It's a way to regenerate communities. And we help connect the dots between environmental degradation and destruction and the adverse impacts on communities of color and low-income communities, the same communities that have been mostly disproportionately impacted by the racist and misguided war on drugs. We raise consciousness about how small farms and small local businesses can revitalize local economies and really give people a sustainable way of life. And we spread awareness of how environmentally healing cannabis grown outdoors can help our planet, and especially in contrast to the very destructive indoor industrial grow operations that we've seen elsewhere in so many jurisdictions. Responding to our efforts, and really it's with your support, the law now specifically includes a clear commitment to protect the environment and improve the state's resiliency to climate change. Those are the exact words from the law. There's a consideration for potential licensees in the licensing process to make sure, to see what they're going to be doing to increase climate resiliency and minimize or eliminate adverse environmental impacts, including water and energy usage, carbon emissions, waste, pollutants, harmful chemicals, and single-use plastics. And the cultivation regulations now are going to be guided by standards that relate to sustainable, organic, and regenerative practices. The law, in response to our efforts, reflects a focus on farming, not just small farmers and distressed farmers, which is the language of the law, but most notably, folks who've not been in farming, people who have been underrepresented in farming, and they really are going to have an opportunity to get into this business, and that is huge. We also were successful in changing something that was up until the last minute going to be included in the law, which is that all medical cannabis had to be indoor only grown. And we were successful in getting that language struck. We worked very hard, and now the law reflects a desire to have small and micro businesses really be an important part of this industry, not just letting big canna come in and take over. And in the final days, and we had many, many meetings, we were able to press very hard on ensuring that home cultivation, personal home grow, would become part of this law. And I can tell you, we really made it clear to the governor's office in particular how important that is to the people of this state. Now, as wonderful as this law is, our work is far from done, because the fact is the regulations are going to be crafted over the months and years to come. And that's going to make the difference between whether or not this law meets its potential or whether or not these become just words and we go the way of other jurisdictions. And so we're going to be back at it, and we look very much for your support. But for right now, let's just sit back and enjoy this victory and enjoy this wonderful panel that we have put together for you today. So thank you very much for being here tonight and for your support.